You're a Renaissance woman with the interests and abilities that you have, and you started college. Now, this is the thing, one of the things that blows my mind, and I've seen you sing, is a classical opera major. How did you get to that? Was this something that you had, opera was a big interest as a kid? How did Lacy Lennon go to school for classical opera?
Well, I grew up in the South mostly,
Okay, you're right,
and
North Carolina, right?
North and South Carolina,
Mm.
yes. And so there were a lot of churches. My family wasn't per se like super religious, but I will say like they didn't have an abundance of money. So the best place for me to sing was to go to church. And I always knew that there was something a little bit different. I would love to sing, right up in the front. And there was just something different about my voice. And everybody in the South would say, "You sing fancy." So I knew that I was singing a lot different. I was doing all these competitions. And so my teacher would start slowly giving me these opera pieces. And my first opera piece I learned was Das Falken, and it's by Mozart. And I went to this competition and I scored extremely high. And this was high school. And again, I went to county choir, state choir, and just every single one of them, you name it. I was part of the National Music Honor Society. I was part of the National Art Honor Society. And then academically, I was a part of just the National Honor Society in general. So music, reading music, writing music, singing music just came very easy to me. I wouldn't really say I was one of those people that had like a lot of friends. I think I'm being like nice to myself. I didn't really have very many friends at all. But what was my friend was music, and it was something that I could always get lost into. So come my senior year, my father decided to retire, and they wanted to move out west. And I have two beautiful sisters who are quite a lot younger than I am, and I did not want to lose them. So I decided that halfway through my senior year, I was going to go ahead and move out with my parents, with my family, instead of staying in the Carolinas and either going to school there for opera or possibly going up north. I didn't want to lose family. It was really important to me. And so I go
Where
over
out
to
west did you land?
Nevada.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Nevada. And so moved out there. And when I first got to the school, I missed county choir. And I cried. I cried and cried and cried. And I begged the teacher. I said, "Please just let me try it. Like please." And he said, "Well, you're gonna have to be damn good to be able to make it." And so I took that music. And then the next day I came in, he recorded a video of me, and they said, "Please, we need her in this county choir, actually."
You still move into college starting as a classical opera major. And I gotta ask.
Yes, so I promise this all leads in. So I'm at States, right? And I perform at States, and I believe that he was the head of the music department over at the University of Reno, Nevada, and he found my mom and I as soon as the concert was over. My mom and I, we were getting my plaque, my t-shirt, because you get all this fun free stuff and everything to like show that you were at States and whatnot. And he found us, and he goes, "I could hear your daughter from the back row." And he goes, "And I know it was her." And he was just like, "Where do you guys live? Are you down here in Vegas, or are you up towards Reno?" And we said, we're up towards Northern Nevada. And then so from there, he was like, "Okay, I will be in contact with you." He then drove to my school, and then he gave me some pieces of music, and he talked to me, and he wanted to listen to me again. And then from there, he said, "Okay," he goes, "This isn't something that we normally do for freshmen, because inside the opera programs and the music programs, you have to be a sophomore." And then he said, "Please, I would love for you to come in and do an audition." And that's how I got my audition. And I think it was like a week later when my mom dropped me off over at UNR. And I did my audition in front of these two instructors. My instructor, his name was Torkelson. He was absolutely phenomenal.
Love Torkelson.
He put me in the chamber choir over at UNR. And then I'm trying to remember, I think it was Dr. Lee, and he even studied over at Juilliard personally put me in the opera program. And so, unfortunately, because I did not go to school all 4 years in Nevada, I only got a $5,000 scholarship. And university is very expensive. So, I just want to put that out there that I did not finish my opera major and I did not fully get my degree because I could not afford it. School immediately put me in debt. I had to work several jobs all at the same exact time. I worked at In-N-Out Burger. I worked at Chewy's warehouse, which is an animal warehouse for food and toys. No animals are there. Food and toys, cat litter, all
Oh,
that stuff.
Chewy's. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
Kanye Westy and I know Chewy's.
And so I was working there and then a nail salon, and I was trying to, I was trying to pay all my bills. I was trying to pay my car, try to pay for my school, but I couldn't afford a laptop. I couldn't afford any of my textbooks. And so my first year was ridiculously rough. And then it put me, I think, almost 40,000 in debt because
Wow.
I was technically out of state because I moved to Nevada the last part of my senior year. So I technically was not even a full resident yet. So I just want to put that disclaimer out there because I don't want people to toot my horn and whatever, being like, oh, she fully has that degree. No, I went for one solid year and I did not re-sign up for going for my second year.
And this is great. This is part of the journey because I'm going to get to you start in the adult industry because of this freshman year, because of this debt, and the journey continues in Nevada in a big way for the journey.
Yeah.
You'd mentioned tooting your own horn. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you to toot perhaps a small piece of your operatic talent. Do you have a favorite song you could hit us with just like a little piece of?
Ein Weilchen auf der Wiese stand, ein singt der Bub und uns bekannt.
I could sit there the whole time just going.
I know, and the song's about a dead flower.
Hey, after the past year, we all feel that way.